you got one of these. If you ain't, and you got to do rear crank seals, you're missing out. Tip for crank seals for the day. Right here. What I do, well, first things first. This tool, I got this off Mac or Matco, I can't remember. But the head of it screws off, and you can put different screws in here. You want a pretty good length screw in here because your crank sticks out so far. You want to be able to go along the side of the crank. You do not want to be coming in at an angle on that crank. But yeah, once you just screw it in there, these right here pop out really easy with this. But in order to put a hole in there for the screw, I have this I don't know what you call this thing, but it came with a sharp tip on it. And over the years, I've beat it to the point it's at the back. And I'll punch a hole in that seal, and then you gotta keep this tight, that way you can screw your screw in, pop it out. But however, here's the major tip. Can you see right there? This one here is at the edge and it kind of busted through the side. I didn't want to use that hole. I mean, you don't have much to play with here, no doubt. But right here, this hole was in the center. You want it in the center because, like I said earlier, you do not want that screw at an angle and you trying to pull out, or the tip of that screw will scratch your crank and put a place and eat your seal up. So, again, you don't have a lot to deal with here, or a lot of meat to do that. But you can see that right there is at the edge of the seal. And this one here's a little bit more in the center. Like I said, there's not a lot, but yeah, just keep it in the center. And another thing, some people will drill holes. I've heard of people drilling holes. I mean, years ago, I did that too. But another thing too is people, when you do this stuff, you got to have the right tools. Certain things don't be skimping on. Just like these screws, I've seen people try to use too short of screws, okay? At the same time, the head of the screw is making you at an angle on the crank. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, you can see how close that is. So if you got a screw and the head of the screw is making it go out a little bit, you will scratch that crank and you will have some issues. Now, this is years of experience talking. You can do whatever you want to do. But yes, be extremely careful. Make sure you get long enough screws to put in your seal. Another thing, this right here is the only way to do it, fail-safe way to do it, because even if you put a longer screw in that seal and you take a pair of pliers and you're trying to pry it, what happens when you pry anything? It starts to bend, and you'll pull it to the side when you're trying to pry it. Again, put the screw against the crank, and it don't take much. I'm telling you, it don't take much. But there is your crank seal tip for the day.